Hello, welcome back to the British Content Channel. Today we are looking at Disruption. Some very easy, skill-less builds that are quite cheap to make and can get you through some very long runs of Disruption. If you enjoy, remember, sub, like, whatever. And let's get into it. Okay, so to start off, this is probably the easiest setup you can use, and we're going to have a look at Revenant. So this is the Revenant build I'm using. I have Zarta's Whisper instead of Revenant's 4 because the damage on Revenant's 4 drops off very, very quickly. And it's very expensive on the energy cost, so I don't think it's very useful. Now, the Exilus slot, you can use really whatever you want here. I don't suggest using Steel Charge if you're doing primary DPS or secondary DPS. And I wouldn't recommend Corrosive Projection as we're going to be armor stripping anyway. For the Arcane slot here, I'm using Arcane Rage because I'm going to be doing primary weapon DPS. However, some other alternatives, you can use Precision for pistol DPS, you can use Fury for melee DPS, Molt Augmented for extra strength, or Molt Efficiency for extra duration. Any of these, whatever you want, your choice. Rolling Guard can be used to recast your Mesmer skin if you need to, Vig Swap for the extra damage, Strength for, strength, and duration just to make it easier to play. And that's really it. Very simple. Okay, so the primary weapon we're going to be using is the Felarx. This is the Incarnate Shotgun from Zaramon. And the evolution path I'm following is pretty much a non-crit damage-based build, as you can see from all the perks on the screen. And here is the build I'm using. So somebody requested this build quite a long time ago, so here it is. If you have primed ammo stock, I suggest replacing regular ammo stock. However, I didn't have it when I made this build, so I'll fix that another time. So the Bane mod, obviously replace it with whatever you're going up against, Corpus, Grineer, whatever. And then multi-shots, fire rates, and then the slash mod increases the weighting of slash on the weapon, so you'll proc slash more often. And then galvanize savvy, galvanize hell. They just give you extra damage. I mean, it's as simple as that. We're running Deadhead here because we're going to be headshotting the Demonists, so yeah, simple. The primer that I'm using is the Epitaph. I'm pretty much just running a viral heat setup with as much status as possible, and then I have 2 auger mods for shield gating. This build will never change, but I'll probably show it every time anyway. Status chance, multi-shot, toxin, and then, simple as that. On the Epitaph, if you have this Encumber Arcane, feel free to use that. I just don't have it yet, so I'm using Dexterity. But yeah, it's totally up to you. Use whatever arcane you want to. And then Glaive Prime. So Glaive Prime is going to be my generic enemy killer because it's insane. So Gladiator Might replaces the Rivet, and you're going to be doing a throw, explodey type build. The generic kind of glaive thing. Glaive forces slash when it explodes. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you are going up against Corpus, you might want to consider using this instead. The Serrata with exactly the same build, as it forces Toxin instead of Slash. And for the focus school, we are running Yanaru. We don't need Vazarin, we don't need Madurai, anything like that, because Revenant's invincible. So we're running Yanaru for the armor strip. This second ability, as you can see, strips 100% of enemy armor. So yeah, pretty cool. And on our operator, we're running Magus Repair for the emergency healing, and Magus Lockdown to stop the Demolists. Simple as that. Let's go show you how it works. Throughout all of these, I'm going to be using the Panzerwolfethyler. The Panzerwolfethyler is the best for any type of endurance, as it does not die. It could just heal itself, you don't have to revive it. I'm just running this generic build with Link Armor, Link Health, Link Shield, Fetch, Synth Mods, and Panzer Thingy Thingy. So, yeah. I mean, this should be max, but I don't know why I haven't. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Okay, so when in the mission, you just want to keep your 2 active and run around and kill the enemies. Now, nothing can really kill you when you're in this form, so you just kill enemies with the glaive. So I'm holding my melee key to throw the glaive, and then using my middle mouse button to detonate it. So once we find the Demolist, prime it, cast your armor strip and lockdown. Okay, so another one of the setups we're going to take a look at is Ash Prime with the Cedo and the Later. So the Ash Prime is here. Ignore Steel Charge, replace Steel Charge with something different. Holster Amp, Enemy Radar, whatever you want. Holster Amp is pretty good though. We've got Zarta's Whisper subsumed, because Zarta's Whisper is really good, and Arcane Precision is for pistol DPS. You can use Arcane Rage instead if you're using primary. In this setup, I'm using the Cedo as a primer. Here's the build I'm using. Pretty much you shoot the disc, and it primes with viral, and you can DPS with it as well, it's up to you. And then obviously the Latum is, you know, the Latum. Okay, so the next setup we're going to take a look at is Trinity. Now, Trinity actually does DPS with her Energy Vampire, and that's why we have Vampire Leech Augment. This, as you can see, is a super high strength build, but very, very low duration. So when you have less duration, it pulses the energy leech things like super quickly, so it just insta kills. We're running raw for extra like bane damage on the second ability, and then more augmented for more strength. Arcane Aegis is for like shield gating. You have Rolling Guard for shield gating, Natural Talent for the cast speed, and Blessing can help you shield gate as well. The 3 is pretty useless to be honest. And yeah, quite a simple setup. It's very good for Apollo on Lure. Now, the weapons you use literally don't matter, but for the secondary, I'm using a new core as a viral primer. As you can see, I have viral with 170% status chance. The build doesn't really matter as long as you have viral and lots of status chance, you'll be fine. For the melee, you can use Glaive if it's Grenier, or you can run the Serrata if it's Corpus. Exactly the same build. Gladiator Might replaces the Riven, obviously. And yeah. So the next setup is Saryn Prime, and it's designed pretty much for Apollo on Lure. However, it probably does work on Sedna as well. You don't need the helmet ability here. I just put one on because, I don't know, I was bored. Toxin Lash and Venom Dose pretty much just carry the DPS entirely. You have Brief Respite just because it's useful. Your shield gating is going to come from your second ability. You press 2 and it fills your shields like instantly. Um, and that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm using Arcane Rage because I'm going to do primary DPS. I'll be using the Cedo for this setup. However, what you are going to need is the Decaying Dragon Key in your gear wheel to make sure your max shields are lower, which makes shield gating a lot easier. I recommend running the Panzerwolf with this setup as well, just because it's going to get killed like all the time. I'm also running an Epitaph with the Augur mods, just for the extra shields on energy cast, and I'm running the Serrata as the glaive. Just hold to cast your first ability, tap to cast your third ability, and you can use the Epitaph on most enemies and they will just die. When your shields go out, just roll, press 2, and then you can shield gate. Zarta's Whisper's there if you need extra damage or you want to use it, it's totally up to you. And yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that. Okay, so to answer what is a shield gate is basically 1.3 seconds of invincibility when your shield is broken from full to empty. If your shield is not full, and it's like, let's say, half full, and it breaks again, you only get 0.3 seconds of invincibility, or something around that margin. So the whole idea is to keep your shield full as much as possible, and when it breaks, refill it. So to make our shield full as much as possible, we want to lower the maximum amount of shield we have. And the reason we do that is, let's say we go to level cap. The enemies at level cap are going to one-shot your shield, whether you have 2000 shield or 100 shield, it makes no difference. So the lower the maximum shield, the faster it is for us to recharge back to full. So we're using this dragon key to reduce the maximum shield. Now, with the augur mods, as you can see here, these augur mods give shield when you use energy. So obviously that basically allows us to cast an ability and refill our shield. Now, the lower your efficiency, the better this works, obviously. But in this Saryn case, we have something that costs 50 energy, and we get 120% back from that. Obviously, you can do the maths, but with a Decaying Dragon Key, that fills our shield up instantly. So let's show you. Okay, so this one bombard, when he shoots me, breaks my shield instantly. If I cast my Molt, and my shield refills, he can never kill me. Now, of course, when we pair that with Rolling Guard, that just gives us extra time to refill our shield.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Of course, there are many other weapons and frames you can use for disruption. You can use literally anything. These are the ones I just find the easiest to use, though. Some of the other weapons, the Phantasma, is extremely strong to use. Is a build I have set up on it. This is just like a generic heat type build. I mean, it works really well. Another weapon would be the Bubonico. This is used by many people. Here's a build I have on it. Just generic like crit, viral, hunter munitions type build. Another weapon that's extremely strong is the Quello. Now, I've only just recently got this weapon, so I don't have a build for it yet. However, look one up on YouTube because this weapon is crazy strong. But yeah, I hope these setups make it a lot easier for you to do disruption, maybe even level cap. So yeah. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been pretty ill, as you can probably hear from my voice. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. It will be the arbitration video probably.